From Puerto Rico to the American Broadway stage, Luis Salgado is an American success story with a little touch of Latino culture, maybe a lot of touch. Hi, Luis.
A lot of touch.
You're a director, a choreographer, a producer. You've been awarded all kinds of awards, and you're involved with the Heights, and you've got so much going on in Broadway in New York. How do you feel today?
I feel inspired. I'm literally just coming out of a meeting, dreaming about new shows, dreaming about our representation, dreaming about how, not even dreaming, but confirming how empowered some of my actors, singers that just perform in Times Square feel today, feel this week after that weekend of events, and how much potential there is in our hands. So I feel like a baby with new toys ready to go.
That's fantastic. And so now you're working on all kinds of projects. The Curtain Up Broadway Festival just concluded, and now your next endeavor is Viva Broadway, Aquí, y Allá, in honor of Hispanic Heritage Month. Aquí y Allá. That's here and there, right?
Very important, because like we were talking off cameras, we're everywhere. And so really, I created this concept of Viva Broadway, Aquí y Allá. Viva Broadway, Aquí y Allá, right? Wherever we are, because I know in Mexico, there are great companies. I know, just to mention one more, is Gilbert, right? Like he's been producing musical theater from Broadway, Lion King, Mary Poppins, in great level of production value in the FA, you know? And in Argentina, there's also a big impact community of musical theater lovers in Spain, in Peru, in Colombia, you know, everywhere you go, our community is in love with musical theater. And now it's how do we also get to import, export, right? What's going on aquí, allá, because there are also stories in Mexico, in Colombia, in Peru, in Argentina, in Puerto Rico, etc., that can come and make their way to New York City.
You know, I've heard an awful lot of you know, the lack of representation and the lack of opportunity, but you've actually done something about it. You're creating your own product, putting your own stamp on it and saying, I'm doing this regardless of all the things that we could create all kinds of excuses for ourselves and saying, I can't succeed because of this, this, or this. You say none of that. You are actually pushing forward and creating things and watching Broadway explode with this Latino flavor.
Thank you. I appreciate that comment and that understanding of the work I'm trying to do, precisely because impossible is just a big word thrown around by small men who find it easier to live in the world they've been given than to use the power they have to change it, right? And so for me, impossible is nothing, just like that poem text says, you know, it's the idea of how do we make it possible? And we can only make it possible with love and with action. And that's what we're trying to do with our work every day.
So another great piece that you're working on is the life of Emilio and Gloria, Estefan, called On Your Feet. Tell me how that evolved, because of course, they're the icons.
Yeah, well, I feel so lucky to be working on this material. I was a performer in the show on Broadway. I was able to play the role of Kenny Ortega, who, funny enough, came to support my show this weekend, Viva Broadway here and there in Times Square. I was so honored to have him here. And not only am I directing, choreographing the tour, but Salgado Productions, my production company, is one of the 3 above the title producers. So I feel very grateful for this material, for the life legacy of Gloria and Emilio. I mean, I was 5 years old in my underwears, dancing their music back in Puerto Rico. And here I am now, being able to have a phone call with Emilio and talk to him about any necessity in the production and getting my ear pulled by Gloria because, you know, I went too far on one number. And that's amazing. It's such a gift. It really is. And I'm humbled by it. I'm learning and I'm grateful. And they're incredible. Talk about mentors. They have opened the door for so many artists all around the world. Right. Through the legacy and the work they have done.
On Your Feet is traveling actually to the Mirada Theater, which is exciting for Angelinos to see.
Yeah, so we're going back on tour. It's already been 6 months, so we took a little pause. And now we get to do a sit down, what we call a sit down, which will be 4 to 6 weeks in La Mirada Theater, and I am so excited to go there. I know that they're producing great work. So to have our show presented in that space is wonderful. And immediately after that, we go back on the road, we get on the buses, and our cast is going to be making those one-nighters again, which is one of the hard tasks, but also a loving task, because we get to share the story in so many places that even Gloria herself said she never imagined, a musical of hers being in. So we're very, very grateful for the opportunity.
Get on your feet. I mean, I can see you doing the dance, like having a good time.
Yeah, of course. Get up and make it happen.
Luis, what a pleasure it is to speak to you. And so the La Mirada experience, I'll play the role of the viejito, okay?
No, por favor, jamás.
Luis Salgado, what a pleasure. Congratulations. It's been awesome having you on our program today.
Thank you so much for your great energy. I'm going to carry it through the day.
Buena suerte.
Gracias.